From Seminole Hard Rock in Hollywood, Florida, this is Poker Night in America. Hello and welcome to the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel, Casino, and Spa. I'm Chris Hansen, alongside Lexi, Gavin, Mather, and tonight we are back at it again, continuing our coverage of the final table of the championship event here at the Hard Rock.
This event saw 1,100 entries totaling in a prize pool of nearly $5.4 million. And out of all of those buy-ins, we're down to just 5 players, with each having already locked up over $231,000. That's a nice payday. However, everyone has their eyes on the first place prize of over $900,000 and a gorgeous guitar tower trophy.
Let's take a look at those remaining 5 stacks as players prepare to resume play at the $250K big blind level. Early on in our coverage, we lost both Ryan Gianquitti and Uga Steinman in 7th place and 6th place. At some point, Sergio, Aido, Chris Brewer, and Raul Hernandez were each at the short stack. Sergio, Aido, and Chris Brewer have rebounded nicely, finding themselves 2nd and 3rd in chips, good for roughly 40 big blinds. Jim Collopy has been steadily accumulating chips without any significant mistakes. He's up over 17 million. Justin Liberto came into the final table with the chip lead, but has found himself on the wrong side of several hands tonight. He's now down to 6 million in chips. As we mentioned, Raul Hernandez is our shorty. He's got 5.5 big blinds, but he's got to be pretty happy, having already locked up his biggest live tournament score ever.
Well, you know what they say, a chip in a chair.
Oh, you mean Stapes' famous saying?
Sure. Let's head down to our final table. What would you do if you won $900,000, Chris?
First half would go to kids' college fund.
Love that.
Second half would probably pay off my house.
Okay.
And I don't think there'd be much left after that.
No money for gambling?
Well, my whole life seems like a gamble. You got 4 kids. It seems like your life's one big gamble.
There you go. All right, Hernandez all in here for about 7 big blinds with king deuce of clubs. Justin Liberto on the button with the queen jack of clubs. So Liberto does make the call.
Hernandez going to try to stay alive. He wants to be in more than just one hand here tonight on Poker Night in America. King deuce versus queen jack. He's got the lead for now, but let's see what happens. Flop is 7-9-5.
All right, so far so clean for Hernandez. He just has to fade a queen and a jack.
4 of diamonds on the turn. Looking for the double up.
All right, and he is going to get that double.
There we go.
All right, finally, we're seeing some smiles at this table. The pressure and the stakes are so high that the tension was real, but it seems like they're starting to loosen up a little bit, have a little bit more fun, maybe realizing exactly how much money they are taking home.
Whoever does leave in 5th place tonight cashes out for $231,000. 4th place moves up to $305,000.
All right, Hernandez raising it up with pocket 6s to $550,000.
And now the big blind. Sergio Aido makes the call. So 1.4 million in the middle. Flop is 3, queen, 5. Aido checks.
Top pair for Aido, and it looks like it's a pretty good board for pocket 6s with only 1 overcard, but Aido just happens to have it this time, but he is going to make the bet of $400,000. He does, in fact, make the shove, and now Hernandez has a decision to make for his tournament life.
Yeah, and he is figuring out that my decisions are almost made for me here.
And he is not too happy to see Aido's hand here.
Yeah. Hernandez is going to be hoping, obviously, for a sixer to pick up some runner help on the turn.
Sergio check shove.
And there is some of that help he needs.
So he does turn the open-ended straight draw. He could hit a deuce or a 7 or a 6 to win this pot.
Except it's another 4 on the river, and that will do it for Raul Hernandez, eliminated in 5th place here in the Seminole Hard Rock Poker Open Championship.
Great game. He played so well, and he is taking home a really nice chunk of change for $231,000.
So now 4 players are remaining: Sergio, Jim, Chris, and Justin. And then we always like to look ahead, ruin the ending a little bit. $305,000 is what you have left for 4th place. 3rd place, $412,000. So $100K between 4th and 3rd. Congratulations again to Raul Hernandez for that 5th place finish. Poker Night in America's coverage of the Seminole Hard Rock Poker Open Championship will return when we come back.
Welcome back to our continuing coverage of the championship final table here at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel, Casino, and Spa in Hollywood, Florida. Lines are still 125, 250K, and the beloved 250K big blind ante as we continue play.
So players kind of spread out here, creating a little bit more room for everybody, as these 4 players are all trying to get the prize money of $900,000 for 1st place.
We have Aido here in the small blind with the ace-jack off, and he just calls. If he knows Collopy is raising a balanced range in the big blind, then his plan is probably to limp re-raise here.
I don't think 10-4 is that kind of hand.
Absolutely not. Good check back by Colopy, and they are going to see a small ball flop.
And flop is 10-7-4, 2 pair for Collopy.
That is what you call the big blind special.
Oh, boy. Now, this is where I put myself in the position of, let's not mess this up. Aido checks. And looks like Collopy's putting out a bet. 300,000 is that bet, just barely over the minimum.
Hoping to target some ace highs. It's hard when you have top and bottom pair. You're blocking a lot of Aido's calling range, so.
And here comes an ace on the turn, and that could be getting Collopy some more money. All right, so 500,000 the bet here from Aido.
They are 2 still characters. Look at them. They're not moving. It's only the eyes.
Yeah, you'll notice a lot of players won't speak, that they don't say anything. They don't want to give anything up.
Right.
Which I guess you get to this level, it can be very important.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure.
You don't want to give any information on the strength of your hand.
All right, 8 hearts on the river. So Collopy's 2 pairs still good. But I have a feeling Aido's going to come right back at him here.
So Aido is going to put in a value bet here of $1.2 million. And Collopy just makes the call and is going to turn over the winner. Aido does not look too happy seeing what he just lost to.
And he only has himself to blame with not raising, right?
Exactly.
And I think that's probably where the source of the frustration was knew that he had an aggressive player on his left, thought maybe he was going to be doing the raising. He didn't. Got into a bad situation. All right, we continue on from Seminole Hard Rock here in Hollywood, Florida. So officially, do we give the Lexi Gavin hyphen? Mather, where are we at on that?
I am still trying to figure it out. I did recently just get married, and I am now Lexi Gavin Mather. But on all of my social medias, I am Lexi Gavin Poker. So
Okay.
I feel like eventually I am going to switch everything to the hyphenated Mather name.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to double check where we're at.
Yep.
Either way, she's Lexi. I'm Chris here at Seminole Hard Rock. Hope you're enjoying a little tournament play, something different here. The championship from Seminole Hard Rock on Poker Night in America.
So here we have Collopy with Jack 10 and Liberto with pocket sevens. Middle pair for Collopy and third pair for Liberto.
Collopy checks.
There are so many bad turn cards for pocket sevens, so I wouldn't mind seeing Liberto put out a bet here to try to end this action on the flop. And that he does. Relatively small sizing here. Can't imagine Collopy's going to be going anywhere with his middle pair.
Nope, he does call. And so now we'll see the turn. That's an ace of hearts.
This is an action killer card for both players, neither of which are happy to see this turn card, although Collopy does turn a gut shot here. Liberto is going to need to hit a 7 in order to win this pot, unless he is able to take it down by bluffing.
And Liberto's grabbing chips, so here comes the bet. Survey says 925,000.
Tough spot for Collopy. He, like I said, did turn equity with his gut shot now, but he still does have a pair that could be good. And Loberto is going to take it down with the pocket sevens. I do like this bluff here. The ace is a scare card, and he certainly could have some ace combos in his range.
If he makes the call there and yet another overcard comes on the river, it just gets worse.
Exactly.
Might as well let it go.
Taking control of that hand right there may prove to be an incredibly important turning point in Justin Liberto's final table run. Only time will tell. Poker Night's coverage of the Seminole Hard Rock Championship final table will be right back.
Here are the chip counts as we get back to our final table. Jim Collopy has had that chip lead for quite some time, but what you might notice is now the short stacks, they're not so short anymore.
Exactly. One double up and they're back in it. This really is anybody's game.
$900,000 for first. Next player who leaves in fourth place leaves with $305,000 here at Seminole Hard Rock.
Okay, we have Justin Liberto folding the ace-8 off in the cutoff, which is a really interesting fold here because four-handed, I would assume it should be an open in the cutoff. However, with the significant pay jumps, I could see that it could be an ICM fold. So we have Aido here limping the small blind with queen-jack offsuit.
We saw him do that earlier with ace-queen. It didn't work out. Collopy doesn't raise, so let's see how that works out for him this time, just limping in. Flop is 10, jack, queen, all spades.
So top pair for Aido and bottom pair for Collopy.
Neither player with a spade in their hand.
Aido is checking and slow playing this pair here. I think a check or a bet is fine. If he checks, he gets to pot control, and if he bets, he can get some value from one spade combos or a 10. But Collopy does decide to put out a 250,000 chip bet, and Aido makes the call.
Aido still well in front with his pair of queens, and he checks again.
Collopy contemplating his options here. Collopy hitting two pair on the river. He again hits the big blind special against Aido.
Wow.
Aido is not going to be a happy camper when he sees what Collopy has woken up with here.
400,000 is the bet from Aido.
He is a non-believer. He's just doing some hand yoga, you know, stretching. Maybe he'll go get a massage and come back and decide.
So we're up to 1.6 million now And I know you can't see it because it's under the table, but I'm guessing there's a little kicking of his own leg going on by Aido. He's kicking himself, I think.
Absolutely.
Nice.
And Aido does make the correct decision. I know it hurts. No, it sure doesn't look like Aido's having much fun. Oh. All right, on our way towards a championship tonight with $900,000. Over 1,100 players got this tournament started with their $5,300 buy-in. And Seminole Hard Rock is known as one of the tournament cash game places to go in America to play.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
They have great games, great action, and it really is such an amazing run series. Shout out to all the poker staff involved. I mean, it really is one of the best run series of the year.
This is really our first good look here at Chris Brewer, and we have been talking about the hairdo. It is obviously poker in the front and roulette in the back. Flop is 4, Jack, 5.
So middle pair there for Chris Brewer. He has to be pretty happy with this flop. It's not too threatening of a flop.
And the bet is 300,000 from Brewer.
All right, so trip 5's here on the turn for Brewer.
Wow, the news is getting better the longer he sits at this table.
And the longer his hair is growing.
Yeah. So action is on Liberto. He checked the flop. Let's see if he does the same on the turn or if he wants to take a stab at this with ace high. Looks like Lexi, that's what he's doing.
Yep, so he does bet 475,000. And Chris Brewer is definitely a happy camper to see this. And he decides to build the pot.
All right, now the price is 1.5 million, so just over $1 million back to Liberto for him to make this call. And it gets a fold.
Skips a nice little pot there. Every pot is so significant because the blinds and antes are so big that even winning just those pre-flop are a nice way to chip up.
Blinds are 150 and 300,000. Also, the 300,000 ante is coming from the big blind.
All right, Justin Liberto with ace-queen off on the button is going to min raise to 600,000.
Brewer quickly folds, and Aido has pocket nines. Finally, he's probably thinking, I'm not involved with the hand with the guy immediately to my left.
Right. I know, it's been an Aido Collopy battle session. But this looks like, yep, stacks are going to go all in here.
No, vamos a tener flipito.
Okay, so this is a little bit over 20 big blind call off here to Liberto, and they are flipping for Justin's tournament life.
Have more chips.
So nines versus ace queen. It's as close as you can get.
The equities are about 50-50 here.
Wow, he does for a 9 while
And the
ahead.
flop is king, king, 5. So nines pull further ahead.
Turns.
Another 5 on the turn.
Liberto's going to need to hit an ace or a queen to win this pot, and he does not.
Have fun.
And that's a great game for Justin Liberto. What an amazing player. He played so well. He is our 4th place finisher.
And bittersweet, I'm guessing. You know, he had a big stack for most of the day sitting down at this final table. But nonetheless, all right, congratulations to Justin. Now 3 players left, Jim, Sergio, and Chris battling it out for the $900,000 first place prize.
It's always tough to bust out of a tournament when you start the final table as the chip leader, but Justin played great and will walk out of here with over $305,000 for his 4th place finish. We will return with three-handed play after this quick commercial break.
Welcome back to the Seminole Hard Rock Poker Open Championship final table presented by Poker Night in America. We are down to three-handed play as our remaining players chase that first place $900,000 prize money and, of course, that beautiful guitar trophy.
You ever played with Raul?
If my math is correct, 1,107 other players wish that they were sitting right here, right now, because that's all we have left out of the starting field. $5.8 million purse is now brought down to the biggest prizes that you can win this week at Seminole Hard Rock.
Blinds are 150,000, 300,000. Collopy is raising it up to 825,000 with the Jack-8 off. Brewer with the Ace-8 off. Can't imagine he's going to go anywhere.
No, he does make the call. And something to keep in mind, too, is that there's a lot of play that is happening. These are 90-minute blinds.
Right.
So you're not seeing every hand. So there is a lot of play that is going on that we don't get to see.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
A lot of time, a lot of playability. The structure is great. You have a lot of chips to play with. This really is more skill and less variance considering the stock depths.
So flop is 6, 5, 7. That means both of them are open-ended on the flop.
Brewer with the better kicker.
Collopy has checked, and so that means Brewer is acting, and it looks 650,000 is the bet.
It really is a mind game when you're three-handed because ranges are so wide and there's so much bluffing going on that you really have to pick apart the ranges as best as you can and try to figure out what your opponents are up to.
That and there's $212,000 difference between third and second. Just, you know,
Yeah.
just that.
Just that.
Just that.
Just that minor detail.
Just the difference between a house and pretty much any American city that you can find. No big deal.
No big deal.
We got this. Well, Collopy makes the call, so we will go to the turn. Turn is a king, helps neither player.
Gives both players flush draws, but Brewer with the nut flush draw now. All right, Collopy checks. And Brewer quickly makes the decision to at least pretend like he is cutting out a bet.
Brewer does have the shortest stack at this table of the three players that are remaining.
All right, decides to put out a bet of 1 million into about 3.5 million. Collopy definitely getting a pretty good price to call here with his open-ended straight draw plus flush draw. He is like a statue. Look at him.
Yeah.
And the way that he grabs his chips, he moves so slow like a sloth.
And that's all by design, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. You don't want to act too quick. You really want to make sure you're balanced, so when you have a strong hand, you want to take just as much time as when you have a bad hand.
All in.
And he moves all in. And
Oh, Brewer's not happy about that.
not happy. So it's 7 million for him to win like an 18 million chip pot.
Yeah. So Brewer thinking here, am I putting this all in on the nut flush draw?
Yeah, he could be thinking that even his ace high could be good against Collopy's, random 8 combos like 8-10 suited or something like that. And of course he can hit his open-ended straight, but this is definitely a tough call to make for your tournament life. He does not want to let this go, but he is quickly coming to the realization that he might not be getting the right price to call to try to hit his outs.
I fold.
And he does make a fold there.
This is actually impossible.
And Collopy is going to take it down with Jack high.
And of all the fun things you could be doing right now at Seminole Hard Rock Casino Hotel, Chris Brewer is doing none of those things.
All right.
Right now, he's having the least amount of fun.
The least amount of fun.
But you got to keep it together, right? Composure.
That's
Don't
right.
freak out.
Exactly. It is such a mental game. You really have to make sure you don't get tilted or emotional because tilt can definitely affect your play. Okay, Chris Brewer here on the button with the ace-10 off. Those yellow chips are 100Ks and the blues are 25Ks. And Brewer does put in the min raise to 600,000. Collopy here now with pocket nines.
Owen.
And he's all in.
I have a call. 100% it is a call. Oh man, that was a quick shove.
He is talking through all of his options.
It's like you didn't even have to think about it, Jim.
Brewer is not too happy here, calling off his tournament life. He knows GTO says you should be calling here, especially three-handed.
Yeah, ace-10 three-handed is just outstanding starting hand.
Absolutely. You have to place a higher value to hands like that because, again, you know, ranges are so wide. Collopy could easily be shoving some king-high hands like king-queen, king-jack, maybe some like queen-jack suited type combos.
I mean, I'm the guy that just says I play theory.
All right.
No. I think screw it has been declared.
This is definitely a side call. And they are going to be flipping for Brewer's tournament life.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's probably happy to see the position that he's in, that he's not, you know, he's not dominated, but he is up against a pair. But he's got 2 overcards, so.
Right. It's a decent option. I mean, he's glad he's not running in a hand like ace-jack or ace-king.
Right. Here we go with the flop. It is 7-3 king.
Clean flop for pocket nines so far. Brewer does need to get there.
A queen on the turn gives him a couple more options.
He could hit a jack for a straight.
Good game.
But he does, in fact, brick, and he is going to be our third place finisher. It's a great game. He definitely played so well and is definitely one of the top players in the entire world.
So here is our heads-up battle. It's Sergio and Jim, Aido and Collopy, 26.5 million to 17.8. As we get started with heads-up play, any advantage clearly for one player or the other that you see?
Collopy has the advantage just being that he has more chips, but in terms of skill, I think, you know, both players are a highly skilled player, so the skill edge is small. This really is anybody's game.
It was a pretty stressful final table for Chris Brewer, who never really found his groove tonight.
Exactly. Brewer was constantly finding himself in awkward and frustrating spots, much of that out of his control, but in the end, he still managed to finish in third place for an impressive $412,000 payday.
And now it's time to do a little shuffling as we prepare this final table for heads-up play and Poker Night's coverage of the Seminole Hard Rock Poker Open Championship final table. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Seminole Hard Rock, where we have begun heads-up play in this championship event. Now, as you can see, Jim Collopy has a sizable lead in chips over Sergio Aido as we continue play at the 150, 300, 300K level.
Okay, as you can see, Aido has 16 million in chips and Collopy sitting with just over 28 million chips.
All right, so we got Queen, Queen versus Ace, Jack here. Aido raised, and then Collopy came back over the top and made it 2.7 million.
Yep, this is definitely a mind trip because Collopy is going to have a lot of polarized three bets here, but this time he just happens to wake up with pocket queens.
He just looks pained. I know he's very accomplished. He's been in this spot numerous times, but he just looks a little pained to me.
I know. Every decision, you have to be so sure of what you're doing because you will be so mad at yourself if you make the wrong decision and cost yourself $300,000 and the trophy. Jack 6-6, 2-heart flop here. So Aido does flop top pair, but Collopy does have the overpair. So this is definitely going to be a pot. This is just a cooler situation so far for Aido. So 5.7 million chips in this pot, and looks like Collopy is going to put out a continuation bet of 1.9 million. This is a board where he is expected to continuation bet with a very wide range. So Aido is not going to be a believer, but he's certainly not going anywhere with his top pair top kicker.
All right, well, this is a doozy to get started with. Heads up, that's for sure. The turn is another jack.
Wow, so now giving Aido a full house, and now the tables have turned, and it's a cooler situation for Collopy.
As we've been saying all night, Collopy, very deliberate, very slow, nothing fast, not showing any emotion.
He is like a statue. He is probably very happy with this turn card because it lessens Aido's chances of holding a jack. He does decide to slow down. Really curious as to what the bet sizing is going to be here. So there's 9.5 million in the middle. And I think this is going to require a pretty small bet here of 2.5 million, targeting some flush draws, some, now there's 2 flush draws out there, targeting some middling pairs, maybe some ace highs. And I definitely don't see Collopy folding his queens here. You can cut the pressure with a knife here, ladies and gentlemen. All right, look, it's like it's in slow-mo.
Yeah, nice again, nice and slow in 0.5.
Makes the call.
So here we go. Now 14.5 million chips go into the middle. Whoever wins this pot's going to be the chip leader.
All right, 5 of hearts on the river, now completing the flush. So this might slow Collopy down a little bit.
Might help him out.
Might help him out,
in the end, for sure.
Yeah, he might be able to get away from it, but doubtful. Especially holding the Queen of Hearts blocker lessens his chance of his opponent having a flush.
Bling.
Ooh. Shoves all in for 9 million chips here. This is a tough spot for Collopy. So this is a 30 big blind shove here. So that's nothing to joke around with. This is a big call off.
Call.
Wow, he makes the call. And Aido wins it.
Wow. What a hand. Get started. Heads up, our first hand, and the chip lead swings from one side of the table to the other. So now 32.6 million to 11.7, essentially a 3-to-1 chip lead.
Yep, Aido is in pretty good shape here. Collopy is going to need to get some, get a double up pretty soon here. With 300,000 big blind. And he wakes up with ace-king suited.
I know one thing for sure. Collopy is probably really tired of watching Aido carefully stack up the chips that used to be his.
Look at him, he's building a mountain.
I'll just grab this little side piece here and raise you up. What do you think of that?
So he does put in a free bet to 2.25 million. Collopy's certainly not planning on folding his hand. He is now debating, should we go all in or should we just smooth call?
Oh boy, a re-raise to
right.
3.875.
Yep, so he is putting in the 4-bet here, looking to induce a shove from Aido, making it just small enough so that he's incentivizing him to at least call. All right, he does make the call.
And keep in mind, this is almost half of the chip stack that Collopy started the hand with just over 11 million.
Exactly. So Collopy does have the best hand here with the 2 overs and the nut flush draw.
Aido quickly checks, sending it over to Collopy. I think at this spot, Collopy is more than happy to play for all of it right now.
Yeah, absolutely. He has great equity with the flush draw and the 2 overs. He is going to put out a continuation bet, and he gets the snap fold from Aido.
Yeah, sometimes you don't want the call, sometimes you do want the call. I think there, like I said, I had the feeling that he just had that look of, let's go.
Exactly.
This is going to be it right here.
Yep. He was ready.
Well, we have seen a flip in chip stacks here in heads-up play. Will it be Sergio, Aido, or Jim Collopy who takes home the championship? Find out when Poker Night's coverage of the Seminole Hard Rock Poker Open Championship final table returns in just a moment. Poker Night in America is brought to you by Bet Rivers.
Welcome back to the Seminole Hard Rock Poker Open Championship event final table. We're heads up for the title between Sergio Aido and Jim Collopy. All right, so here we have the chip stacks on screen. We can see Aido with just under 30 million chips, which is roughly 92 big blinds, and just under 15 million for Collopy, which is roughly 55 big blinds. So as you can see, they are pretty deep. There's a lot of time, a lot of playability, 90-minute levels here, so it really is a game of skill. Okay, so we have Aido here raising it up with the king-queen off. For a heads-up battle, they're definitely getting some strong hands here. Collopy with an 8-7 off is going to make the call.
All right, 6-5-8 is the flop.
So top pair and open-ended straight draw for Collopy and nothing but 2 overs for Aido. Not the best board for king-queen here.
Well, they both very quickly check to the turn, and that's a queen.
It's a great card for Aido, now giving him top pair.
And things have slowed down now after that queen falls on the turn.
So after the flop went check, check, Collopy is going to check again here, trying to get to showdown as cheaply as possible. Aido grabbing chips to put out a bet here for value and for protection. He bets 1.4 million. I can't imagine Collopy is going to fold one straight here. I mean, he's not necessarily checking twice to not call at least one bet, but he's definitely not a happy camper, as he can definitely be losing to a lot of better hands. He very slowly makes the call.
All right, well, the river here gives Collopy the straight.
Check.
And it goes check, check. So great check back by Aido.
Straight.
He dodged one there, that's for sure.
Yes.
But Aido's top pair quickly became the losing hand. And we've only seen a couple of hands heads up here. Not a whole lot of play has been going on. They've been getting good premium hands to play with.
So Aido with just about 11 million more chips than Collopy there. Really just takes one all in and that's it.
900,000 for first place, 614,000 for second place. Neither one of them wants to hear that second number. All they want is the top spot.
So Collopy here raising the button with the ace-5 off. Queen 10 of clubs for Aido here. And makes the call.
Flops 5-6 king, a couple of clubs on board for Aido.
Collopy does have the ace of clubs blocker, but he also flops bottom pair, so a little fun for everyone. Okay, so he puts out a 600,000 chip bet. Can't imagine Aido's going to be going anywhere.
Well, Aido is bringing the number up. He's going to 1.85 million.
All right, it's definitely putting a lot of pressure on Collopy, that's for sure. It's a tough call to make with his bottom pair.
And Collopy slowly deliberately makes that call. So now this pot's got 5.5 million in it. And the turn is a club, so that gives Aido the flush, but Collopy also now knows to go with his pair of fives. He's got that nut flush draw.
Yep.
So I think it's pretty clear to Collopy here that Aido's got something. I mean, it doesn't seem like the right time to be running the bluff.
It's so hard to say. He easily could be representing the flush. I mean, if he had just the queen of clubs, I could see him taking the same line. So it's definitely a head trip.
So Collopy, after the call, now sees a 10 of hearts come on the river. Aido first to act.
It's not a question of if he's going to bet, it's how much.
Oh, wow, he checks.
Yep, never mind, I take it back. So he is checking to induce a bet from Collopy there. He is contemplating now, should he just check and hope to win with his pair of fives, or should he try to turn this pair into a bluff? It would be an ambitious bluff. You know, it's hard to get a king to fold.
Calling.
Oh, wow. So he puts in the big overbet shove here, and he gets snap called by Aido. And we officially have a winner, ladies and gentlemen.
There we go. Congratulations to Sergio Aido, your winner here at Seminole Hard Rock. $900,000 heading his way.
He also gets to take home that really cool guitar trophy. I'm a little jealous, not gonna lie, but super happy. What a fighter. He played so well, and he definitely had a tough opponent. I mean, Jim Collopy definitely gave him a run for his money. Both players played so incredibly well. Great game for both.
Yeah, it's very few times you can say this could have gone either way, but I think in this heads-up match it definitely could have. And here are the final payouts, all the way from seventh place at $154,000 at this final table, all the way to the win that we just saw for Jim and Sergio of $614,000 and $900,000 up top for Sergio Aido.
Yeah, these players have to be pretty happy with this. I mean, both did so well and now have a big chunk of change to go home with.
Wow, that will do it. Sergio Aido is your 2022 Seminole Hard Rock Poker Open Championship main event winner. He takes home over $900,000 and the Championship Guitar Tower Trophy. What an epic run for Sergio. Now don't go anywhere, because Poker Night in America will be right back with our closing ceremonies and our final tournament leaderboard.
Welcome back to the Seminole Hard Rock Poker Open Championship, where we have just crowned our champion, Sergio Aido.
Yeah, congratulations, Sergio. He's going to take home over $900,000 for the win and that very cool Guitar Tower Trophy, assuming he's able to get it through customs and security at the airport. Congratulations to everybody else at our final table, too, especially our runner-up, Jim Collopy, so close. This was an amazing event that capped off an awesome tournament series run impeccably by the staff here at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel, Casino, and Spa.
Well said, Chris. And also huge thanks to the Poker Night crew. You guys are great. Weird, but great.
You know what? Truer words have never been spoken. For Lexi, Gavin Mather, I'm Chris Hansen. And for all of us at Poker Night in America, thanks for watching.
Hey, if you like this video from season whatever from Poker Night in America, there are at least 41 other seasons, and we've got every episode here on our page at your disposal. Go to town, but make sure you hit like and subscribe.